Hello and welcome to the Trade Ideas Market Recap for Friday, January the 2nd, the first video of 2015. My name is Barry Enerson. I'm the moderator of the room. This is the address to get into the room, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Now, I'm going to get to a chart right now, and I am still in this one. Great alert by Trade 14 about right here, I think. And I took out I got in at 306 and I took out half at 319. So I'm kind of watching this area. I won't have to watch the chart. I'll just watch my brokerage platform and see how it's going. But I did say I would stop myself out at 306, but now obviously I'll put a stop a little higher than that. This is finally we had one that had some continuation today. I'm going to show you a couple like IDRA. IDRA is a good example of how kind of frustrating the day was. You look right here. Here's a big volume pop. Stock goes over $5. You think, okay, now it's on its way. No, comes right back down. Another bit of a volume pop. And again, the stock goes over $5. Now, I took this trade right here at 504, but the minute I saw this, I said, you know what, I've seen this before, and so I exited at 510, and it's just kind of doing nothing. A little disappointing on some of these, especially if I look at the weekly. I believe on the weekly, it's yeah, I mean, there's maybe some well, yeah, here we are, some resistance in the $6 level. So, I mean, it had room to run. It just didn't want to. So that was typical of most of the stocks that I saw today. And, again, VGGL is sort of running counter to to what I saw on a lot of stocks. So let's start to take a look at what else I did today. Now, BCLI rescued me from probably a pretty miserable day. Miserable only in that it would have been very boring. And you know what? I don't understand why this is not marked up. I'm positive I marked it up. So just one second. Hello, sorry about that. Okay, BCLI. Now that came from my evening scan. I call it my best 10 list, but BCLI was on it, and because it had a strong day on Friday, Friday, on Wednesday, New Year's Eve, and so I was watching it in the pre-market. Watch it come up here. Here's the pullback. And when it broke over 6 again, I decided to take it. So this is, here's 8 o'clock. So it's a little after 8 o'clock. And I sold half of it at 709. So, $1.01 in the first half. So a great trade there. Pulled back down and then it went all the way up to 846. As it started coming down in this candle, I decided to take the rest off at 813. And a great trade. I mean, let's face it, on a day for me anyway, that really had not very much continuation in anything that I was looking at, except for VGGL, as I've still got an eye on it. Yeah, so this was a great trade, and at that point I figured, well, especially as I got into the day, I figured this was going to be the only good trade of the day until again VGGL came along. I did take another trade in LEJU, and this one came on my list of a stock that was up, and I watched the pullback here. 1186 came through the whole number. Thought okay, took it at 1214 and exited because the day was so choppy. I just didn't have any faith in these things moving very much. So I took half out at 1230, and then on this candle here, I basically got out the second half at 1214 at my buy. Again, really due to the nature of the day, I probably, here there was no real reason to get out other than the fact that, I just didn't have trust that a lot of these things were going to continue. XRAY. XRAY was another. Now, XRAY was a bounce play, came from the bouncers. And you can see here a bunch of candles down in a row. I took the trade right here at 5206 on this green candle. Again, love it, usually over the whole number. But, it broke down through the whole number right here. I held on a little bit. It bounced up here. And then as it bounced back down, I decided to exit the trade. Again, I just didn't see the continuation. And so I took a 6 cents loss on XRAY. And it's really done nothing since. So Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers was catastrophically coming down. I believe it actually appeared on this list for a while on down the most in dollars, and so I was watching this one, and I was amused a little bit because generally Weight Watchers you would think it would be pretty good because of everybody's New Year's resolution to lose weight after all the stuff that we've been cramming into our bodies over the last 2 weeks. So, but for whatever reason, it just had a really terrible day. And I looked at this. You see here, it had a pop up, came back down on this spike. It looked like it was going to continue, but then this spike came down. I started watching it again. I got over the whole number. I took the trade at 22.17, and I quickly exited at 22.27. I mean, just nothing. I mean, at 10 cents, mainly because of this. I hate when you see something like that. I mean, it's a fairly dramatic. Here's the bottom here, 21.73, and my guess is that this is about right around 22.17. So that's a pretty, 5 minutes. I think that I was even if I went to a 2-minute candle, it would be almost as extreme. So when you see something like this, you always wonder, okay, you're starting to get this little turn up, but is this red candle going to be the precursor of something else coming down? And it's really done nothing since then. So so out of that one. Now, this was a bit of a mistake on my part. Perfect world. I didn't realize that this was a buyout or a potential buyout, and for whatever reason, I thought this was an earnings play. I mean, I don't usually read the news, but I thought I saw that it was an earnings play, and so I was watching this one for a long, long time, thinking that okay, on a day where you're not getting a lot of continuation, perhaps a solid earnings play will pick up later on the day, and it had this huge, huge consolidation area. And then it had a little spike. And so hard to see here, but I took the trade at 19.28. And then I did realize that it was a buyout or a potential buyout. And so I exited the trade almost immediately for an 8-cent loss at 19.20. And it's done really nothing since then. So it wasn't that big a deal. IDRA. I talked about IDRA. I don't know if I probably talked about IDRA. And again, one of these ones that had the big pop up, down. I took the trade at 504. Yeah, I'm sorry, I did mention this one. So again, kind of a miserable one. You would expect that with the weekly that I showed you that we'd have a continuation, and we just didn't. And let's see, the last one. Let's take a look at VGGL and see what it's doing. I know what it's doing, of course, but I'm going to hold on. I'm going to see if it can. Let's see. This was in the news a lot, and I don't know if it was in the news, but it was certainly a high flyer for a while. You can see up here it hit well, that's a little too much. Let me go to a daily on this one. And we had been trading this quite a while ago. You see down here it was, or even here it was up. Went from about $3 all the way up to $5.70. It came all the way down, and then it came, $1.27. It had a huge spike up here, back up to $3.99, up and down. It's been chopping around, and somebody posted in the room that they're going to be talking at some kind of a conference, and that for whatever reason that gave the big spike today. So this is one for sure we have to watch tomorrow because, I mean, in theory, we've got up to this spike here, 489. So I don't know where it's going to end up today. We've got to have, I would consider this a bit of a resistance area, 344. You can see that right at the top of this candle, again, this is today's daily candle. It looks like it spiked right up there. In fact, let's see what the high is. 345 is the high. So it's right coming into this area here. So we'll have to see. It would be great, of course, if it could close above that, and then, so we don't have to worry about this area, and then who knows, maybe we'll have another big run in it. But I do see that it's starting to come down, and if it gets back down to my first sell area of 319, I will probably get rid of it because, I don't have a faith in a lot of these small ones on continuation right now. Okay, well, that's it for today. It was active, but again, Friday, let's take a look at the SPY. I just want to show you that the SPY, the volume. So this is New Year's Eve, and the volume wasn't great, but at least it was 134 million with a little over an hour left. It's not even going to come close to that. Now you would expect that. I mean, let's face it. You have a holiday on Thursday, and a lot of people will just have maybe turn that into a 4-day holiday, not do very much on Friday, or not do anything at all. So hopefully by Monday we'll get back to some normal volumes. I don't expect that immediately it's going to pick up, but I eventually will start to get some normal volumes. You get volumes like this, and what happens with that is that you get an IDRI, an IDRA, and 9 times out of 10 you'll have some continuation. You'll see that big volume pop, and it will have meant something. But right now the volume just dries up almost immediately. Okay, so that's it for today, and for the first video of the year. So hope to see everybody in the trading room on Monday.